After Helene and Milton, Casey Key's future in question. Welcome to Metro Nation News, where we bring you the most pressing stories from across the country. Today we're diving into a story that hits close to home for many Floridians, particularly those living in one of the state's iconic barrier islands, Casey Key. Two back-to-back hurricanes, Helene and Milton, have left the small community of Casey Key in a state of devastation, and residents are now asking some tough questions about the future of their coastal paradise. Can they rebuild once more, or is it time to face the harsh realities of climate change? I'm your host, Cora, and in this episode we'll explore how these storms are reshaping not just the homes and landscapes of Casey Key, but the very lives of the people who call it home. Jason Bain is one of those residents. A construction project manager who moved to Casey Key 4 years ago, Bain found his family's oasis turned upside down, twice. Trudging back to his home for the second time in as many weeks, dragging a generator and supplies through sand-mired streets, Bain couldn't believe the damage before him. Doors, roofs, even cars had been ripped away and tossed like toys. In his words, the island is unrecognizable. Like many others, Bain and his wife moved here with dreams of passing their beachfront bungalow to future generations. They'd reinforced their home, installed hurricane-safe windows and doors and followed all the codes. But despite these precautions, as Bain put it, water finds a way. Now Jason Bain, like many of his neighbors, is left questioning whether the paradise they fought so hard to preserve is truly worth the price. Julie Cook, a pharmaceutical representative, shares a similar story. She and her husband had just installed a new $30,000 dock and boat lift before Helene and Milton arrived. Their plan to rebuild their 1978 home after past storms was already costly, and they'd even dropped their insurance before the hurricanes hit. Now they're left to bear the full financial burden of demolition and reconstruction. As Cook gathered debris with her children, she admitted, "It does cause me to question the burden of this beauty." Even for someone devoted to the unique charm of the barrier islands, the question lingers. At what point does it all become too much? What makes Casey Key special is its unique character. A mix of modest homes, quirky inns and lush, tropical canopies. It's a place where residents have long cherished the absence of high-rise condos found in other parts of Florida. But as climate change-driven storms become more frequent, residents are forced to confront the possibility that the old Florida feel may be a thing of the past. The Phillips family, another longtime residents, have seen their home flooded twice now. Joni Phillips told us that rebuilding with stricter, elevated construction standards may be inevitable, but it could change the very look and feel of the community she loves. "It's traumatic," said her husband Paul. "Doing it twice. We're so tired." He's not alone in wondering whether this relentless cycle is becoming the new normal. The storms don't just affect homes. They reshape the land itself. With each passing hurricane, more of Casey Key's landscape is lost. Helene and Milton washed out sections of roads, destroyed sea turtle nesting grounds, and eroded the very dunes that once anchored the island. And yet for some the answer is clear. Ben and Rachel Nieder, who have owned their vacation property on the Key for over 20 years, say they'll rebuild, because to them, storms are just part of life here. They've seen this cycle before, and despite the growing intensity of storms, they plan to remain, saying the beauty and peace of Casey Key is worth the risk. But for others the future is less certain. As climate change continues to fuel stronger and more frequent storms, Casey Key and barrier islands like it face an increasingly difficult battle. Will the allure of Florida's coastal beauty continue to outweigh the cost of living on the front lines of nature's fury? Thank you for joining us today on Metro Nation News. I'm Cora, and this is a story we'll continue to follow as residents of Casey Key decide whether to rebuild or retreat. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, we'll be here bringing you the latest stories from across the nation and beyond.